Hey, what's going on YouTube? Just at one of my stops right now, and I said, you know what? Let me make this video right here because I don't really think I touched on it for some time, and it's basically a message for people that suffer from, I don't even like using the word suffering, but that are managing to deal with kidney disease. And for the people that just found out that they have kidney disease, I want to let you know is when you find out, depending on what stage you're in, you shouldn't have that mindset of it's the end of the world. I know it doesn't get enough recognition like other diseases or ailments, but it definitely is one of those things to where you really have to take into consideration how serious it is. It's not one of those diseases where you can just, it's a little bit of treatment here and there, you just stop it completely. But what you can do is slow down the process of it failing. It's probably as quick as it was, but I want to let you know, once you find out that you have it, don't throw in the towel so fast. It's going to be an emotional switch because you may have been going through a good week, good month, hell, even a good year, and you go get blood work drawn and find out that, hey, your numbers are kind of up and down. They're not normal. But when I found out I had it, the family and I were coming back from Florida. And what I did was I developed gout on the way back from Florida. I had gout. It was painful that first day because I never had it before, so I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know how to treat it. I didn't know what steps to take to get the pain off my foot. It was one of those pains where you feel like this has to be the closest thing to, I'm not going to even speak that into existence, but it has to be one of the most painful feeling in the world to have gout. From my lifelong experience of living, that's one of the worst things to go through. But like I said, we're coming back from Florida. First day, I dealt with it. Took some Tylenol or maybe Motrin. I forgot what I took. I took that. When it happened was, I took the medicine. I took the pills. It didn't do anything. It was like trying to put a Band-Aid over a bullet wound. It didn't do anything. So I waited until the next day, and I said, I can't take this pain anymore, because it got to a point where, no matter how I positioned myself in the bed, the pain was just unbearable. I got no rest. I usually don't call out work, but that was a point in time I was like, forget that, I'm calling off. I couldn't deal with it no more. So I went to the urgent care. They let me know what it was. I heard about people having gout, but I never experienced it myself. They drew some blood, and I was on my way to get a handgun. Like maybe a couple days after that visit, I'm headed back from Marietta. No, I'm headed to Marietta, and the office called me. The urgent care called me. Hey, mistake. Do you have a minute? when you get that call. No, they told me. Yeah, they told me I had gout, but they gave me that call like, we want you to come in for a minute. And you like, the first thing that runs through my mind, like, man, okay, what's going on? And they told me what triggered the gout, which was fresh fish, or shellfish, whatever it was. Basically, my uric acid spiked, and that's what created the gout. But Like I said, they called me, and mind you, like I said, I'm on the way out there to Marietta. I get some Chick-fil-A, so I already feel low-key guilty because I'm scarfing down Chick-fil-A. So I go take care of my business out in Marietta, head back. I was going to go to work after I took care of that business, but I bypassed the yard to go straight to the doctor's office because when they told me they wanted to see me, I ain't even want to wait. I can't stand waiting, especially when this comes to healthcare. I can't stand waiting. So I head straight over there, and there was doctor said, "Come back here with me." And the anticipation is building up. I get back there, he was like, "Your kidneys." I'm like, "What about them?" And around this time, I wasn't real big on going to the doctor. Yes, I'm guilty of that. Maybe if I was doing that before, I would have been able to take care of the situation sooner than I did, but that was my mistake. He was like, "Your numbers are pretty low as far as your function." So I'm not knowing anything about kidneys for real, for real. I'm just like, it's one of those things where it filters out the fluid and the blood and things of that nature. That was like the bare minimum that I knew. Now that was the most that I knew. I'm sorry. Found out about that. What ended up happening was he wanted me to go to a nephrologist. Last time I went to a nephrologist is when I was around 13 and I had a biopsy. And that was the last I heard anything about my kidney, but I did find out that I had too much protein at that time when I was 13. But I never followed up with it after that. It's another story behind all that and that gap. I don't want to get too much into it right now. I know it's a long gap in between, but that's what it is. But found out when I get news like that, I get to dig in information and just information after information. Just I'm taking it all in as far as the knowledge and what to learn from it. How soon can I change this? And it was to a point to where I went to the nephrologist and they drew blood, and the numbers kind of panned out the same as far as my creatinine level. It may have moved or jumped a bit, but my EGFR, that's one of the things I was mainly looking at, and it was low as compared to what it should have been at my age, in my age range. So that moment, I start feeling like, man, first thing you really start thinking of when you hear kidney disease, you start thinking dialysis. That's just the first thing you start thinking about. Well, I know for me, I'm gonna speak for myself. I know that was the first thing I thought about. I was like, man, I felt down. I felt down about it because I had to wait another 3 months to get my blood work. And at that time, I'm not thinking about a nutritionist or none of that. So, Google is almost everybody's best friend as far as finding out things. So I would go on Google, like, what's the best way to lower your BUN as far as its bond. But BUN, it's correct terminology. But how can I raise my EGFR, get my creatinine level lower than it should be, as far as my uric acid, what to do for that. And you get so overwhelmed with all this stuff because you never knew all of this. You never knew any of these things before. Nothing. And then, like I said, you get so eager to learn to where you pushing the information in so much, it's like it could be overwhelming. But I did all that. I've been back and forth to the, checking up on my blood work and my overall health for the past 4 years, around 5 years. So this whole kidney issue is one of those things where it could drain you because you can have your up moments and your down moments. But all I could do is tell you to take the medicine that you're prescribed. But the best thing about taking the medicine is, if you feel a way about it, if your body's rejecting it, your body will let you know. You gotta listen to your body. Your body will let you know what's good for it, what's not good for it. and check your blood pressure regularly, daily if you can, but at least 3 times a week. And see if the medication is, as far as blood pressure, is actually working. But you can get certain side effects depending on what kind of medication you're taking. But like I said, take the medication. Within those next few months, you and your doctor can kind of alternate on different medicines. If you're going to feel like a lab rat because you're trying to get everything right to a point to where you're not overdoing it too much with this medication, you just got to basically find the right fit for you. And that's it. But it got to a point right before we got married. Shoot, man, I was doing bad on the eating habits. I then started eating more lamb chop, fries, a lot more chicken, which I learned that chicken is very, very high in uric acid. And that's what I switched to, mainly chicken, turkey, and fish. And what I was doing was I was eating salads thinking that was healthy, but I didn't know. I think spinach has a lot more potassium or phosphorus. You know, I had too much of something, but I had that with avocados, trying to eat right. Come to find out, the potassium in avocados is higher than bananas. And basically what I'm saying is get your health down to the science. Basically that's what it is. Get your health down to where it's manageable. Forget what everybody say. Man, you lost so much weight. You did this and that third. I think my heaviest was 265. Now I'm down to between 212 and 217. I'm in that range. You know, your weight always kind of is never the same months out and weeks out. It's never really the same. But like I said, getting back to before the wedding, way before the wedding, I think it was like a month before the wedding. It's like September. My numbers, when they dropped, as far as my EGFR, it went down to like 22. And this before the wedding, I'm like, oh. And I found it to where I had a kidney biopsy, which, you know, that's where they go in and grab a small, sorry, this truck backing up, but they grab just a small specimen of whatever they're trying to get to, which was a needle that went in my back and really just clipped off a little small piece of my kidney just to see what could be a problem. Come to find out that, like I said, at my heaviest I was 265. So the doctor was saying something, there's no damage, no inflammation, no damage on your nephron like that. It just seemed like you were real heavy at one point and it kind of expanded it and it shrunk. Some stuff, if you're a nephrologist or a kidney specialist, maybe you can drop a comment and explain to me what they're talking about. But like I said, it got 22%. So I said, you know what, no meat at all. One time I ate meat was the day before the wedding, night before the wedding. And that was September 3rd. That's what's late September. But I went back to the nephrologist after, hold on. I went back to the nephrologist after we got back from the wedding. And it went from 22% to 33 or 34%, my EGFR. So I'm like, okay, bam, I'm feeling great. As soon as I got up on that high, I started, like I said, I got on that high and thought I was doing something. And I started getting back to the stuff I shouldn't have. But, and then my test went back down. So it's one of those things where you got to learn your body and figure out what's the best route for you to take, because it's not going to be an easy journey. But the first thing that you shouldn't think about is dialysis. I'm wrong for that, telling you what you should think. But I don't want you to think negatively about the situation. I do want you to figure out what's the best way for you to cope with it. And that goes for saying don't harm yourself to the point to where you immediately think that it's doom and gloom for the rest of your life. No. Just change up your diet, change up how you eat, change up, your alcohol intake. If you can't stop drinking, stop drinking. Because stop drinking, period, I think within that first week or so, your blood pressure is lower automatically if you just focus on drinking water, eating your green leafy vegetables, really stay strong on that fruit. I'm telling you, fruit, whoo, it's a game changer. I wasn't a big fruit person, but ginger tea with dandelion. Rewind. Dandelion tea with chopped up ginger. That helps with inflammation. It's big on it. It helps a lot with inflammation and blood pressure. Grapes, red grapes, helps with blood pressure as well and cleanses kidneys. But I found out a lot of this stuff just on the internet doing my due diligence, because at first I knew nothing about all this. I knew nothing about all this. But like I said, I want you all to not think the worst if you find out this information, if you get this information from your doctor and nephrologist. Don't go straight. Don't let it get you down. And if it does get you down, stay there for a little second, and then start doing your own research as to how you can improve the situation. Because when I first found out, I was shook, man. When I first found out, I started telling my kids. I immediately got on the phone with their mom. It's kind of warm now. I got on the phone with their mom. Hey, go get their blood work immediately. Of course, my kids, they go get their checkups or whatever, but I said, no, get a renal panel, find out everything they need to know about their kidney function. So it was to a point to where I wanted them to be informed, because they have somebody in their life that's dealing with kidney failure and diabetes, and one on top of the other can really just take its toll. But I don't have any of the signs that a lot of kidney patients that's in decline. I don't have a lot of those symptoms as far as like leg swelling, itchy skin, fatigue. I gotta conclude this video because I gotta let these doors down on this trailer. But he's doing it for me. Cool. I know that too loud, but I'm gonna conclude this video. But basically, don't get overwhelmed. Sorry for the interruptions. I'll get back with y'all in a little bit.